Hi there, all my crafty friends, and welcome to my channel. I'm Donna from Mason Creations, etc. Mixing different types of media with air dry clay can take your art to a whole new level. I'm about to show you how to create a stunning masterpiece. In this video, you will discover the exciting world of mixed media art combined with air dry clay, showcasing some unique techniques and creative ideas. So if you're ready, let's make a mess. I'm going to make 4 little plaques that will go together. Some of the edges are a little rough, so I'm giving them a quick sanding before I start working on them. You can do the techniques I'm about to show you on wood, canvas, or just about anything you would like to use. I love the stencil because it has a really tiny design and it's perfect for this project. I'm going to use texture paste to add the design to my little plaques. I'm adding the texture paste with a palette knife and spreading it over the entire surface of the wood. I'm scraping off some of the excess, but not too much or it will end up too thin. I'm making sure I get it to all the edges. Make sure you wash your stencil right away. If you let anything at all dry on your stencil, it will ruin it. Even if I'm going to use it more than once, I wash it in between. I'm stenciling all 4 plaques and letting them dry for a few hours before moving on. This and all the products you're going to see me use today came from decoupagenapkins.com, my wonderful sponsors. Now I'm going to paint the top and all 4 sides on all the little plaques using Dixie Belle chalk paint in the color cotton, which is white. I love Dixie Belle chalk paint. It goes on really smooth and creamy. If I'm going to use chalk paint, this is the one I'll always default to. Where are you watching from? Let me know in the comments. It's fun to see what cities and countries you are all watching from. I'm filming from Las Vegas, Nevada in the United States. I'm going to use a beautiful Zuri mold for this project. It's called Flower Blossoms Set Number 2. These molds have such fabulous details. It contains 4 different types of flowers, which will be perfect for my 4 plaques. I really like these molds. I have a couple of them. I'm dusting the mold with cornstarch to make it release easier. I'm using DOS clay, which is a great choice for when you intend to glue the clay on while it's wet. Gluing the clay on while wet helps stop most of the shrinking. DOS clay shrinks very little anyway. I added the clay and then sliced off the excess with my palette knife and cleaned it up a little bit around the edges. I wet my finger a little and rubbed around the edges to smooth them out. Decoupagenapkins.com has such a great selection of napkins that you can purchase one at a time. They carry many other craft supplies such as rice paper, paint, clay, molds, and a great selection of polyvine products. Over 8,000 products and growing. They are wonderful to work with and will send your order out fast. They offer several automatic discounts when checking out. Subscribe to their newsletter by entering your email address and you'll receive 10% off your next order. They are truly your one-stop shop for craft supplies. Make sure you check them out. I'll be leaving links for all the products I use in my description box below. I'm using a craft glue to add my clay pieces to the plaques. I'm brushing the glue to make sure I get it on all the edges. I don't want anything to lift. I'm pressing down lightly around the perimeter of the design to make sure everything is touching the background. These will need to dry overnight and then I'll begin painting everything. I test all the products that I recommend in my videos. I won't recommend anything that I haven't used myself and prefer. If I'm recommending it, you can bet it's a great product. Each product will be listed in my description box below and will have a blue link to make it easy for you to find. Any of the links I provide are safe for you to click on. The clay is dry now and it's time to add some color. I'm giving the flowers on this one a base coat of the color Eggplant. I always do the center larger area first and then go back and do the detail on the edges. I find it easier to do it that way. This paint will need a second coat to get the color nice. This one is a base coat of vintage pink and will also need a second coat of paint. Send me a comment and let me know what type of project you would like to see next. I love designing projects around your requests. Just be patient with me though, I get a lot of them. I'll definitely get to yours. Sometimes it just takes me a little while. I love hearing from all of you and look forward to reading all your comments and requests. So keep them coming. This one is getting a base coat of Pentart Vintage Green. Just the flowers and not the leaves just yet. They're going to get a different green. Pentart is always my favorite paint to use. They're smooth and creamy. Pentart paints have remarkable coverage and almost never need a second coat. This one is getting a base coat of Pentart in the color Mallow. I'm putting on all the darker colors first and will be adding lighter colors on top. I'm using a makeup sponge to add the colors Hydrangea Purple and Pentart Country Blue over top of the eggplant. When these are done, they're going to be pretty muted colors. I'm going to have some great projects coming up. I'll be doing some mixed media, air dry clay, decoupage, and of course more Christmas projects. You'll want to subscribe so you don't miss any of them. I'm sponging the Pentart color Compact over the Vintage Pink. And white is going over top of the green flowers. Pentart in the color Rose over top of the Mallow. I'm using Pentart Country Green for the leaves on all the plaques. I added just a little bit of water to some white paint. I'm sponging that over the flowers and the leaves on all 4 of the plaques. The lilies were a little too white, so I added back a little bit of the rose color here and there. I'm going to paint all the backgrounds now with Pentart in the color Off-White. It's a very neutral color and doesn't have any cream or yellow tones to it at all. It's perfect for these little plaques. And again, I did all the large areas first and then followed up with all the detail work around the flowers. I also painted the sides of the plaques. I used rich espresso to paint all the little stamens on the lilies. If you're enjoying this video, please let me know by hitting that like button. And why not share this with a friend? Thanks for doing that. If you'd like to be notified anytime I upload a new video, click the bell. I'm going to give all 4 plaques a coat of Polyvine's Heavy Duty Wood Varnish. Don't let the name fool you. This formula is great on all surfaces. It's heavily moisture and heat resistant, as well as UV resistant and food safe. This is one of my favorites and I use it on almost all my projects. I'm using this satin finish and the shine deepens with each coat you put on. I'll let this dry for about an hour. There's a lot of texture on these plaques, so I'm making sure that the varnish isn't pooling in the low spots. I'm going to mix my own antiquing medium. I'm using some of the white gold paint by Pentart and just a little drop of dark gray along with some water to make it runny. When you make your paint runny, it'll give you time to wipe off some of the antique. I'm brushing my mixture all over the plaques, over the background, the flowers, and the sides. Since I gave them a coat of clear glossy varnish, I won't have any problems wiping it off the surface. It will pull in the lower areas, which will give some depth and shadowing. I'm wiping, dabbing, spritzing with water, and adding more of the mixture until I'm happy with the way it looks. When you spritz it with the water, it makes the paint move around and pull in all the recesses. When this is dry, it will give the appearance of embossed tin. I just love the way this effect turned out. You can make an antiquing medium out of any color paint. All you have to do is water it down and make it runny. But make sure you have a glossy surface. If you don't, the paint will grab onto the surface and you won't be able to wipe off any of it. Let me know what type of Christmas ornaments you would like to see this year. What do you see in your mind when you think of Christmas? Angels, Santa, snowmen, or something else? Send me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. I let the antiquing dry for a couple of hours. I'm using some metallic wax rubs to highlight the high areas. I'm using the color Old Silver on the background. This will add to that tin look. And I'm adding the color White Pearl to highlight all the high areas on the flowers and leaves. I love using metallic wax rubs on my projects. I love the luster and shimmer it adds as a finishing touch. I did the same thing to all the plaques. Due to all my technical difficulties I had last week, I lost some footage. Now I'm using a wax rub in the color Soot. I love this one. It makes things look dirty, old, and weathered. Perfect for this project. I'm going between the flowers and the background with a brush. Then I'll wipe off the excess with a soft, dry cloth. I also added the soot around all the edges of the canvas and put a little extra in the corners. I even added a little in some of the recessed areas between the flowers and leaves. I let all the rubs dry for a couple of hours and then gave all the plaques a final coat of heavy-duty wood varnish to protect everything I did, and let that dry for an hour before moving on. I'm gluing some sheer organza ribbon in a cream color around the sides of the plaques. I'm just adding a small bead of glue on all four corners and at the top. I don't want the glue to be conspicuous. I'm using my bow dabber to make a bow for the top. This mini bow dabber tool works really well. It makes bow making so easy. I'll link it below in my description box in case you'd like to check it out. Don't forget, all of the wonderful products I'm using today can be found at my favorite place for craft supplies, decoupagenapkins.com, and I'll leave you links in my description box below. I put together a playlist of some other tutorials you may enjoy. Click the picture on the right to be taken directly to that playlist. I'm so happy you were here with me today, and thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to see you all next week. I'm working on a new project with you in mind. You can subscribe by clicking my picture in the top right corner.